Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. It's the Sunday Rant. No good cars around. An A6? I don't think so. Thought it was an A8. No, not doing it. But what we are doing is talking about a bill and the response from guess who? Chris Spear. Isn't that nice? They shook him awake from his hyperbaric oxygen chamber, wherever he is, and said, hey, you got to go out and talk. So there's a bill. Get this. Bipartisan bill introduced in the House and Senate that would stop the exemption for overtime pay for truck drivers. Since 1938, the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, we should say, transportation workers are exempt from minimum wage and overtime. That may have worked then, although I didn't agree with it then. All right, now we got a bill that's on both sides and bipartisan, and it has its best chance ever of passing. And so once ATA heard about that, they had to come out and say something. And they said brilliant things. Brilliant things like, by giving drivers overtime, they'll make less money. That's a quote from Chris Spear, close to a quote, okay? If we pay you for all your time, you're going to make less. This is straight out of 1984. Good is bad, right? Thinking is bad. So it's like in bizarro opposite world. He said, and I love this, it would be better for these people that are taking the time to work on this bill to work on a bill that would, let's see, let me get this close. He wants to talk about truck parking and says, the truck parking issue is costing drivers $5,500 a year in pay because of the time they spend looking for a parking spot every day. Average like 57 minutes according to them. So let's work on getting parking. Do you know why drivers lose pay looking for a parking spot? Because they are not paid by the hour. All right. I just want to shake this guy and say, do you even know what you're saying? I'm afraid if I shake him, all the gears and stuff will come around. He's not real. Now I want to tell you, the latest numbers that I found from ProPublica put Chris Spear's salary at just over $2.7 million a year. All right, let's break that down. That's $52,000 a week, or approximately $1,300, $1,300 per hour on a 40-hour work week. If he works 40 hours, okay? $1,300 an hour, approximately, for him. And hey, if you want to get paid for your time, no way, we can't have that. And I love that on the other side, they said that it would boost inflation. This is going to increase inflation. Let me tell you a few things. If you reduce somebody's pay, that doesn't increase inflation. And the other thing about this, let's look at this for real. If we could talk like the kids talk, okay, for reals. Every company, not just trucking, but every industry, they always pay you just enough so you don't quit, and you work just enough so you don't get fired. That's every industry. They don't overpay people on purpose. Let's pay people way more than we need to pay them. If it was actually true that truck drivers got less money getting paid hourly, every company pay hourly. But they don't, do they? And then we can look at retention. Now, which companies have the best retention and which have the worst? The companies with the worst retention pay by the mile. Companies with the best retention rates pay hourly plus overtime. There's no reason anymore to not pay people by the hour. Chris Spear can't come out here and say drivers are losing $5,500 a year on average looking for parking places and then say, hey, I don't want to pay people to do anything. That's ridiculous. And he has no idea what he's talking about, because he makes $1,300 a week in an office somewhere, griping that truck drivers might get a little more money. If he thinks it's less money, he should encourage some of his companies to pay overtime so that they can save money. He would be saying, hey, pay drivers hourly plus overtime and you will save money. It isn't just wages. Companies have to pay half of the Social Security on your earnings. So if your earnings are less, they pay less, right? There's a lot of added costs that go along based on what you make that companies would save if they actually could pay you less money. Believe me, If you go stop next time you're somewhere, stop somewhere, if you can find somebody that's getting paid hourly plus overtime, and ask them, hey, what do you think? Would you like to just go and make, no money for the work you do, or are you better off getting paid hourly plus overtime for the work you do? Who do you think is going to change back? Do you think we get a lot of people that go back to say, hey, I'd really like to get paid for only part of the time that I work? Of course not. And to say that you're going to make less is just ridiculous. Okay, go look at the highest paying companies in the country. Who do you think it is? Trucking companies. Do you think it's places paying by the mile? It's not. All right, for employees, it's going to be people that get paid by the hour, not people that get paid by the mile. It just is the way it is. And to say, hey, we're not paying you for part of your work because you'll make less money. Why don't you put some of the people on that? How about some people, we'll put 10% of you on it and see what you think about it. See how that works. We'll pay you for all of your time. What he said is not true, which is not, it's nothing unusual. I assume that's how they have meetings at the ATA. They have a big meeting. Oh, what should we do? A lie. That's right, Johnson. You're getting promoted. Come on. People, every employee deserves to get paid for what they're doing. And if you don't have work for them or whatever, that's a you problem. All right? That is not an employee problem. Tough. Pay people for their time. No matter what somebody who gets $1,300 an hour says. Fair enough? We will file this bill and keep up with it, and hopefully it goes somewhere. All right? Until then, thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon with another Trucking Answers.